Right, let's show you how to create a quote and print it out. You can quote over the phone, or obviously you can organise to go out and do a visit quote. Either way, in this edition, what you do is you come to the button in the centre here that says quote over the phone, and you click that button. What that does is you can see at the top here, it's added a line on at the quotation summary line. It's given it a date. You can change the date in there. So if we're going on Friday, we can change that. Obviously, if this is a quote you've done over the phone, you would leave it as it is. We've got the quotation type, and at the moment that's set to telephone. Obviously, if we're going on Friday, it may well be a visit quote, so you can change that in there as well. You can make any notes in here you want about the quotation. That's just a free text field. So we can click OK. So if you're sat in the customer's house, you can make notes in there about information that you've told her while you've been on the quote there. And then we can see on here that it's got the totals for this quotation. Okay, so at the top here we've got quotation, the summary. So that's got the quote on the system. Now we just need to start adding the data to it. So again, you can do this over the phone or while you're sat in with the customer in the house. If we look at the bottom of the screen here, we've got a section that says item details for the selected quote. So we can click add new item, and that puts a new line on there. We can choose an item code. We can do that in two ways. We can either click the button and then look for what we're looking for. So if we're looking for H, we could be looking for hall stairs landing carpet. And we can choose it that way. And then as we move along, well, you'll see that's populated the description field, hall stairs landing. As we move along, we get to what we call our FF, which is a fudge factor. So if you're going to adjust your price for whatever reason, it's a little difficult access, and you want to charge a little bit more, or it's a large area and you perhaps want to discount it a little and you want to show that so you can record it for future reference, you can put in there that you've charged 10% more. If you want to charge 10% less, you can put minus 10% in there as well. Again, you can use enter quantities, so the room sizes if the client gives you them or you are measuring up. So you can click the little box in the quantity field there, and this is set up to default to meters, but you can actually tell it that you want to use yards or feet while you quote him. So let's assume that the client gives you the details in feet over the phone. So let's say they tell you it's a 20 foot by 12 foot room, and they say it's a dining room, lounge dining room. So there's also a section that's 12 foot by 12 foot. But then they say that there's got a chimney in there and there's a hearth. So you need to subtract. So we put a tick in the subtract box. And then we can subtract the 4 foot by 1.5 feet. And then we just click check. And when you click check, it calculates that and works out that there's 35.12 square meters. So we can click OK, and that'll default to your square meterage in there. And then you just put your prices in. So let's say you're going to charge £100 for this, £100 for the clean and protect service. So the CO is the clean only service, the CAP is the clean and protect service. Healthy home, HH, that might be £180. There's a column there for other. So if there's anything that falls outside the scope of this, let's say you've quoted for something, an unusual treatment, you can put £200 in there. And if you want to make a note about that, you can make a note there in the item notes about why the other service is £200. Okay, we also allow you to quote for extras as well. So when we set some extras up in this edition, and one of them is anti-allergen. So let's assume that we're going to quote for an anti-allergen treatment and that we'd charge £30 for that treatment. As I say, you can already put item notes in here, and that's free text. That's it, you've added your first item. If you want to add another item, you can just click add new, and that'll add another line item on. Let me show you that one. Now you'll notice here that we've got this scroll bar on because the grid has got a little bit wider than the screen. Now we can adjust that by adjusting these grids. If you hold down, if you hover over the line between the two grids, click and drag, you can shrink the grid a little there, and we can do the same again there to shrink that there. That'll make sure that this all appears in the section here and the scroll bar disappears at the bottom. So I need to show you how you can use the item codes rather than having to type rather than having to look in here. You can just type the item code straight in. So if I know I want a lounge and that's L, I can just type L in there, hit the tab key, and it moves along and puts the lounge description in. Okay, if you make a mistake and you need to delete the item, just make sure you've got it selected, and then you can use the delete button here to remove that from the line. What you can also do in SAM is you can pick up previously quoted prices. So if I can see on here that we went previously in 2011 to do a quotation for the lounge, I can move along here and I can double click that line item and it will actually add it onto this job as well. And that'll then give me the opportunity, if I wish, to adjust the prices here and make any alterations I want to. Now, the only thing I've not covered yet is the fact that you can add discount codes. We've set some up as default. So on this lounge carpet, you can see here we've got a default of 10% off the clean only and 20% off the clean and protect. Now I can actually open that, and if I wanted, I could change that to none, and that'll readjust the prices. And what you'll notice as well on the quotation summary line right at the top of the screen here, this one that runs across here, you'll see that now we've got the totals for the services that are here. So all that's left to do now is print this quotation out. You'll see a button here that says print quote. If you click the drop down box alongside, that gives you a list of the quotation layouts that you can try. Have a look at those, see the previews, and see which one's going to be most suitable for you in this edition. The other thing that you can print from here is as well, if you're actually doing a visit quote and you're not going to be entering this onto the system, you can also use print scope sheets here. So these will be blank forms that are mail merged in the client's details, and the rest of the form is just blank for you to scope. Have a look through these reports, see which ones you want to use and how they're going to work best for you. But all you do is you choose the one that you want to use, click the print quote button, and then you can go through and print that off or preview it as necessary. So that's how easy it is to create a quote and to print a quotation out for clients. Just as a reminder, if you want to see all the quotations that you've done for this client and you're in the front client screen, the client details screen, all you do is you come to the quotations tab. That'll bring you to this screen here, and in the middle section here, this section here, this is where all the prices are, so you can see the date that you quoted for the rooms and the prices that you quoted. So as you start to work along, you'll see that, for instance, here we've got the lounge carpet on twice, and you can see that there's a difference in the price there. One was £120, and then as we've re-updated the price, we can see that it was £130. So you've got a complete history of all the quotes that you've ever done for this client. Really useful, really simple.